This podcast is brought to you by BetUS. So, Space, why don't you let them know about BetUS?
All right, man. If you're looking for any hot website to push any type of place, any bets on, any of the NBA odds of MVP, defensive MVP, anything that we ran down right now, just click the link in the description. That's BetUS. If you want to put money on Jalen Green for MIP, KPJ for the assist leader, Jokic for MVP, whatever suits your fancy, go right now to the link in the description. That is BetUS, where you'll get 125% upon sign-up bonus. That's BetUS. That's where the game begins. Yo, welcome back everyone to the Chop Shop Pod. It's your boy Space Ghost. I am here with my boy F Tank 58. What's happening, Frank?
Man, we ready, man. Game tomorrow, so I'm ready. I'm excited, bro.
We made it through the off season. It's been seeming like it feels like it's been a whole year since we played.
I swear.
Literally. But we're going to kick
Yep.
it off with some Rockets news, starting right off the Rockets trade David Nwaba and Sterling Brown to the Thunder for Derrick Favors and a second round pick. We got some cash back from trading them. How you feel about this trade, Frank?
Yeah, I think it was just basically Rockets and Oklahoma City just basically high-fiving each other and slipping a little dollar in between. And that dollar is that 2026 pick that Oklahoma City sent over to Houston. We also allowed them to get under their tax because they were right there at the limit. Give them a little flexibility for their situation. And the players involved, pretty much the salaries match. The only difference is that they were able to get back Derrick Favors, which he's a $10 million salary, which would be very interesting in some of the trade rumors and some trade ideas that Rockets fans may have with Eric Gordon or KJ or any of the guys that are rumored to be traded. But to me, even though like we've joked about how mid this trade is, I think that Derrick Favors is actually an upgrade of an asset over David Nwaba because I feel like, well, he's a backup center, so he's going to have a market in the NBA. You can never go wrong with a backup center. His salary is a bigger salary, so it's easier to just throw him on like Eric Gordon, who's making about $20 million. Now you got $30 million. If you want to go get an expiring contract of a guy that you might want to move or just kind of want to play around, that makes it better. And if he plays, he actually lands something. They might, I don't see them just parking him on the bench because I think they're going to try to win games. So I can see a world where he actually get real minutes playing. What you think? You think he gonna be the John Wall special, or can you see them actually playing him back up?
I'm really hoping not because I'm really thinking he can be utilized while he's on the team. Yeah, move him at the trade deadline or however you see fit to use his money. I think it's more of his money. You got to, it's like two sides of this because he like you said, he makes enough money to where you can package him with an Eric Gordon, get an MLE type level player right now in Houston right now, and he can be valuable in that aspect, and then he can also be valuable because we all looking around like, yeah, we know Şengün is going to be the starting lineup. Who is our legit backup? And he's a veteran that knows how to play center at the right, like a center. Let's say he know how to play center like a center, and we don't have no guy on this roster that actually knows how to play center like a center yet because either they're too young or they just not a high level player. You know what I mean? So I think he has a role that could be filled here while he's here. But I ain't gonna be mad if they shop him off, and try to get a different level tier player with the money that would be, allocated towards his salary.
Yeah, I definitely agree, and I think that if you think about it, like besides Şengün in the starting lineup, like the center position we have a lot of centers. I think the quality of centers we have isn't that good. I'm not sure what their intention is, like the season and their goals. I have a feeling that they're not thinking like the fan base is thinking. I don't think Osiris is sitting there thinking, "Oh man, I got to get Wemby." So I think he's thinking that I'm going to try to get these guys to play as best as they can, develop as much as they can, and try to really win as many games as they can, and let the chips fall where they may. And if you give him a player if you give that guy a player and there's no directive from Stone to say, nah, we don't want him playing, because he's not going to hurt anybody's development because there's no Jalen Greens at the center position. There's no Kevin Porter Jr.'s at the center position. Şengün will start. And, as much as we love Garuba or, any of these, or Boban, to me, if I get a better player, okay, y'all just chill on the bench. Let this guy go and get some run, get Jalen those looks he need, kind of play with the backup. And you could switch it up where if it's a bigger guy, because to me, he can actually guard. He's a body type that can guard the Joel Embiids of the world. He might not do a good job at it, but, he can do it. He can try at least. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. I think he can be utilized. It's not like he just gonna be Udonis Haslem.
Right.
He ain't gonna come in to do that role. He can actually be utilized. He still got some legs under him. He still got enough savvy and grit and a veteran presence enough to plug up a hole if you got to. Like, he can actually be used. I don't see him actually just sitting on the bench in street clothes or just waiting to get traded to the next team. I think he gonna actually have to get out there and play because the team needs it in the backup role. Like you said, I like Garuba, but I don't know if he's a year away or 2 years away or what. I think Bruno maybe got the lead right now for the backup center because I think he's kind of perfect mesh with Jalen and KPJ to where he's a lob threat. He set hard screens. He's a bigger body. So if Şengün is not performing or he needs a break, then you can get a different element type of guy in there, but won't lose Şengün's screening and such like that he can get the guys open going down here. What I will be kind of intrigued to see, will they play Şengün and Favors at the same time? Since you say he is the bigger body, he can't hold a Jokic or something, but that means Şengün got to guard a 4, and I don't know how that translates defensively. I think offensively maybe they can play together, but I don't know about that defensively. So they're gonna have to split minutes, and he's gonna have to come off the bench.
Right, and I can't see them playing. That'd be nasty stuff. I think that if he does play, they'll play him, maybe sparing minutes. But I just know Silas, man, this dude falls in love. If he sees a center that could actually set screens, roll, defend, rebound, and Favors is a pretty good rebounder. He's actually a pretty decent rebounder. Like, folks are viewing this. I'm not talking about front office wise. I'm talking about coaching wise. Stone may give the directive like, we don't want him playing at all. But at the end of the day, if he doesn't, I think Osala's going to use him, and they're going to have to balance that out. But I just don't see. They might trade him tomorrow. Well, in 60 days, I think is the minimum they got to wait. But they might trade him at the first opportunity or at the deadline or something like that, because he isn't expiring. So I expect him to be gone off the roster. But it is interesting, like, if you put him together with EG, that's $30 million. So you flirting with some pretty good basketball players in that range.
Like a mid all-star level type of guy that's actually in the starting rotation type of guy. Like 30 million, that can get you somebody for a couple years. You know what I'm saying? Like, right. somebody worth a quality player at that price tag. 30 million can go a long way right now.
Okay, so now we're going to talk about what we came here to do, which is the NBA futures, and we're going to talk about some odds with the Rockets. What does Vegas have in mind for how they think we're going to do? We're going to look at some things on the over-under for the team wins. We're going to talk about most improved player award and who on the Rockets is on that list. We're going to look at, the rookie of the year, obviously, with Jabari, Tari, and Tai being there, and see where they're ranked. So the first one we're going to start with, bro, we're going to do the over-unders for wins. So I know you've said the Rockets are closer to about 30, right? And I've said about 27 to 28. So right now, the odds for the Rockets, and this is low-key disrespectful to me, but they got us at with the number set at 24, and the over is minus 105. And the under is minus 125. And just to explain to our our audience, not everybody is a big gambler or bets or anything like that. But how these money line odds work, when you see a minus, that means that's the favorite. And when you see a plus, that means that's the underdog. So if you see a number after that, that just tells you how much money you have to bet to make a certain amount. So if it's minus like 150, that means that to get $100, which is always like the standard kind of place mark for betting, to make $100, you got to put down 150. So usually the underdogs are going to be a plus, and it'll give you a number. So if it says plus 150, that means if you bet $100, you stand to win $150. So for us, we're both likely, it's more likely they're saying that we're going to win under 24 games, because the under for the Rockets right now is minus 125, and the over is minus 105. So it's not that far off, that the over or under, meaning that it could go either way, but they're saying we're going to suck more than we're going to be good. So do you agree with Vegas, bro? Are we going to suck more than we're going to be good?
I mean, they didn't even give us no wiggle room. they just bottom line just said, nah, they're gonna be bad. Either under or over, they're gonna be bad. And it's like, do I agree with them? I think my fandom will probably get in the way here, but no, I don't agree with them. I think 24 games, if we just win 24 games, Silas getting fired.
And you think that's
yeah, man. Yeah, 24
okay.
games. Like we won what 20 last year, and then we won what 20 something the year before. We ain't that's no growth there. There's nothing to hang your hat on. And I know we've been the worst team the last 2 years, but to only give us 24 wins, like, nah, I think we gonna be a little bit better than that. And like John Lucas said, we're gonna surprise some people. And this not gonna be the first time Vegas was wrong. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah,
I would actually go and put my money on the over. Like I put my money on the over just because I don't see us being that bad. Our defensive enough, I think, will raise us to a point to where it wasn't never offense with us. It was always defensively. And I think we got some defensive studs now. And I think we got size, we got length, we got athleticism. We're gonna end up surprising a whole lot of people, and Vegas gonna lose some money messing with the Rockets.
okay. I'm gonna stick with you on that and go with the over. I just think I think they're better than 24 wins, because I just think a lot of teams are kind of trying to lose. So, and I think we're actually going to try to win. So I'm gonna go with you. If I'm gonna place my money, I would put that 105 on the over, and yeah, I think that'd be something you can collect on. Now let's rapid fire in this over under for wins. Let's look at some of the other teams that are in our group. We have Oklahoma City. They have them at 23 and a half for the win totals, and the under for that, which is the most likely outcome, is minus 110, and the over is minus 120. So pretty much it's almost even, that it could go either way for them. What do you think? Over under 23 and a half for Oklahoma City?
I'm gonna go under just because they didn't lost Chad. I don't know if they're going to keep SGA. I think they're going to just go ahead and fully embrace the tank. And I'll put my money on the under with Oklahoma City.
I'm going under as well. You heard the SGA rumors, so I don't know is this just smoke or is there some fire there? If they ship him, we already know what time it is with Sam Preston. You know what time it is, so we going if they mess around and bench SGA or start shipping him or doing some stuff like that, they definitely gonna try to destroy that under. Next team, Orlando Magic. So this is why I thought this was kind of disrespectful. They got Orlando at 26 and a half for wins. With basically it's even. The odds are even for them to be over and under. So it's just to pick them at this point. But for me, I'm going to go under for 26 and a half. I think that their team is still about a good guard away from actually putting it all together. And I think it's a guards league. I know they have a great, potentially great front court, but they're not a defensive front court. They're more offensively gifted guys with Paolo and Franz. Obviously, Wendell Carter's there, but to me, that three big lineup may be effective, but it does kind of have some funny spacing. And back to the defense, if you got Paolo, Franz, and Wendell out there, let's say you are playing a team with guards, they cooking that, bro. you know what I mean, the foot speed isn't there. So I still think their team is a bit wonky. I think Jabari would have really been good for them, bro. Like he even though he's limited, he would have been a great player for them. I think Chet would have been a great player for them. I think Paolo is going to be a great player, just not this year, as far as with the team. So I'm going to go the under for 26.5 with Orlando. What about you?
I'm a little bit more optimistic about Orlando than you. I'm gonna go with the over. I'm gonna actually go with the over. If in like you said, one guard, I think if Markelle Fultz come back healthy, maybe mid-season, it'll probably boost him a little bit more once Markelle Fultz get back. And I think he's a quality player when he's healthy. He got it. You seen not what, like end of last year, towards last year, or beginning of last year, he was actually playing pretty good. And he was looking like the old Markelle Fultz, like he had fixed his jumper. He was getting to the rim. So it almost hinges on Markelle Fultz. If he come back healthy, I'm gonna pick the over. I'm gonna just pick the over on him. I got a little bit more. I wouldn't say confidence, but I got a little bit more swag. I think they got a little swag over there right now in Orlando. I think they do. I'm gonna go with the over.
Okay, we're gonna follow up with all these at the end of the year, by the way. So just know this is on tape, bro.
Don't put me on blast, bro.
We're gonna bring a little graphic to show how we hit. That's gonna be a good segment we're gonna do. As when we start kind of doing some of these pick'ems, we can keep a list to see how me and Space are doing against each other at the end of the week. So we're gonna see who really knows some ball. All right, then the last team for this section, we're gonna talk about the Pistons, the hated. No, we don't hate the Pistons. We love the Pistons. Actually, I love the Pistons. They got them at 28.5 wins, with the over being minus 145, which is surprising to me for that, because they're saying that they're more likely to win more than 28 games, and the under for them is plus 115. So, man, that's I know that they like Cade, and we're gonna see that where they have him ranked in some of the other odds. But I'm not putting $145 on them to win. For me to get $100 off of that, I'm gonna go with the under on that. I think they will be either right at 28 or 27, 26, something like that. I'm not mad at the if they get to 30, but if I was a betting man, I would try to take the risk and make a little extra money with that plus 115. What about you?
This kind of lines up with what they picked, like Cade, the number 35th overall player in the league, and then on the what's the name odds for the MIP, he's pretty high up there to be one of the most improved players. And as far as my own personal, I think I like what they're doing. Like, I really do. And for me to not seem like a hypocrite, because I believe in Orlando Magic, and actually
Okay.
the Detroit Pistons actually got a little better team, I think, than Orlando Magic. So I'm gonna have to go over on them too as well.
Okay.
I think they'll hit 30. I think they'll hit 30, 31 games if they gotta play Orlando and the Wizards and
Pacers
the Pacers and all those guys. I think they got a clear path to where they can win 30 games. So I'll take the over.
Okay. I ain't mad at that. Okay, since you brought it up, we'll go straight to the MIP award. And I'm just going to go over some key odds. So right now, the odds-on favorite is your boy Anthony Edwards from the Minnesota Timberwolves. They got him at plus 1,000. So what that means that if you bet $100 on him to win that award, you stand to win $1,000 off of that. So he is the odds-on favorite at plus 1,000 on the spread of that right now. Number 2, Tyrese Halliburton, plus 1,400. Then you got Cade at the 6th spot. They have him at plus 2,200 to win the most improved player. And then another notable name, Scottie Barnes, at the 11th spot at plus 2,800. Then your boy Jalen Green is the 17th, behind guys like Anthony Simons, OG Anunoby, Darius Garland. Hella disrespectful. But him and Scottie Barnes have the same odds at 2,800. And Kevin Porter Jr. Snuck in there at plus 4,000. I honestly think he should be higher than that. I think the odds makers are being casuals because they don't know this man is playing for his life, and they didn't see like like we know the inside story on KPJ. He could have go out there and average 20-some 30 points if he wanted on a bad team. But, I just feel like he's going to definitely break out this season. So I'm gonna say that plus 4,000, I might put some money on that, bro. I'm not even gonna lie to you for KPJ. If you want to bet, when you see those odds that are that far out, that's where people make money on. So if I was a betting man, I put a little bit on that, bro. I put a little bit. What you think?
Yeah, I agree. I agree with that. It kind of surprised me. Jordan Poole, how long he gonna be on the candidate for most MIP? Like he's been on there like the last two or 3 years. You know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
I actually think Zion is gonna win it.
But damn, you go from 0 to 1. I guess that's double.
I think
1 to 2 is double, ain't it? Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's because he's a media darling. I think everybody like him in the media, and with him being healthy, didn't they make the play in last year? New Orleans, or they was yeah. So
they were in the playoffs.
Yeah. So I think they're gonna be in the playoffs again. And it's gonna be because it's gonna look like, hey, Zion's back. It's gonna be a beautiful storyline. He's gonna look healthy. He's gonna look slimmer. You know how narratives drive. You know how narratives drive the league. I actually think Zion will win it, but I wouldn't be mad if Anthony Edwards with it. I like Anthony Edwards. He just got a dog in him. He really do. But the whole slurs that he did, people tend to hold that type of stuff against him. So Jalen Green, I want to say so bad that
it's gonna be him.
That's gonna be him.
What does he have to do? What does he have to do to, like, what type of campaign does Jalen have to get to for you to be like, okay, damn, he might have a chance to win this award?
I think we got to make the play in. I think we just got to make just to him to get enough national attention to garner the award. And he just can't be good regionally. He can't just be good when we play the Spurs or Dallas. He got to be good when we play the Lakers and the Brooklyn Nets. And he got to win a few of them games. You know what I'm saying? Because of him, he got to go 32, 33 points. You know what I'm saying? Very efficiently and actually win some of them games, like some of them Toronto Raptors games. Or if we can upset Philadelphia 76ers, because Jalen just went supernova and just went crazy. You know what I'm saying? I think that's the type of season he's going to have to actually win it. But I think he's going to go from not winning MIP to being an MVP candidate within a couple years. So I'm not going to even be shocked if he don't even get any mentions. You know what I'm saying? Because we're rebuilding. But he's going to go from an MIP to an MVP candidate, I think, within a couple years anyway. So that ain't much biggie to me. Who I would like to see win it, truthfully, and I think it'll mean the world for him, KPJ. If KPJ was winning MIP, I think that would just cement everything in him. Like, man, I put in the work. I did this, and now I'm getting rewarded for it. People are actually acknowledging. I think it'll be a better story and a better feel-good moment for KPJ. You know, we was down and out. Everybody was down and out on me 2 years ago, wanted me out the league, blah, blah, blah. Trade me, whatever, do whatever. I got basically ran through the mud. And for me to come back and win the most, improved player within 2 years of that span, playing a totally new position that I didn't even start off playing in the league, I think that'll be an excellent story for not just for KPJ, but for this Rockets as a whole. Everybody will get a pat on the back if he was to win this. Silas will get a pat on the back. Stone will get a pat on the back. Lucas will get a pat on the back. His teammates will get a pat on the back. It'll just be a feel-good story the way, because we embraced him and we said, we not going to give up on you. And he actually get love for it.
I think that's a great point, bro. And honestly, the way the media loves these redemption stories, I could actually see that happening. But one thing you hit on that is especially for any of these awards, really, especially like improvement awards, it has to be a different change in the team you play on from the previous year. And it can't just be you went from not making the playoffs to not making the playoffs. So there has to be a level up in the Rockets for either Jalen or Kevin Porter to even have a chance to win this. And I think, like you said, I think the play-in, if they go from the worst team in the league to a play-in team, within a year, and Kevin Porter is putting up like 20 and 8 on that, then I think he got something to say about it. Same thing for Jalen. If they go from the worst team in the league to a play-in team, a first-round team, and he putting up 22 and 5 or something like that, and he's the guy carrying the bulk of the scoring and everything every night, then I think he definitely has a chance to also win that. But the reason I'm gonna be hesitant on our guys, even though I'm gonna throw a couple $100 on both of them just to hedge.
Yeah.
Just you never know. But the reason is the team success part of it. And I just feel like some of the other guys, like you pointed out, I think Anthony Edwards, he's probably the front runner because that team is going to be solid. As much as we hate the fit with Rudy, I don't hate the fit. I guess it was kind of confusing, but they're going to be probably like a baseline first, second round team. And he's the best player on that team. So, and I see him, he coming, bro. He going to be like 25 and up, like points per game, closing out games. He's the guy they go to in the crunch time. So I think he has a kind of a lead on that. Some of the other guys, Tyrese Halliburton, I'm not really sure what they see there. I think that's not a good bet. I wouldn't make that bet. I love the Zion. I think if Zion can get them to one of the top 4 seeds in the West, that'll be something for them because RJ Barrett, if the Knicks can make the playoffs, I can see that. I think he's going to have a good season. Cade at 6. Now you talked about the Pistons. What does Cade have to do to do that for them? We seen they were right there with us as far as being bad last year, but like we've talked about in the previous segment, they have 28 wins as a projected wins total for this season. What does that season look like for a Cade campaign as most improved player?
I think he have to have at least a similar like season to Jalen, to where he have to actually get his team into the playoffs and playing for something for meaningful. I think a lot of games, if there's no meaning, if you know what I mean, if it's no meaning to them, I think the national people and whoever makes these votes, they just sweep them under the rug. Like, it's mid-October, that game don't really mean nothing. Or you know what I'm saying? Like, he actually have to make an impact late March, April. You know what I'm saying? And give them a push into the playoffs as well. I think Cade would have to say maybe 22 and 9, 22, 9 and 7. I think right there he's a damn near border all-star already. So we them all-star spots are just so hard to get. But with those type of numbers, he'll get an MIP, especially if his team is playing in May or in late April. I think he'll get him MIP just because he's the engine. He proved that he's the engine. If he get him there, I think he'll prove him like I am the engine that carried us here, because look at previous years before. It was a disaster over there in Detroit.
I think that is actually good point, and I can see him because he's such a ball dominant guard. Awards is easy for those guys to rack up because he's going to be getting the assists, the points, and the rebounds. And I can see him even being like a 22, 8 and 8 type guy. If it's going to be like you said, they got to be leveled up. And for the Pistons, Vegas think they're going to win over 28 games. They definitely probably going to be kind of flirting with a play-in position there, maybe in a first round kind of entry. So we'll see with that. So the last kind of Rocket-centric award is NBA assist leader. And the only Rocket to make that list, we have your man's Kevin Porter Jr. They have him as the 19th best odds for that at plus 15,000. So that is way off. And the favorite is your boy James Harden, former Rockets, with the plus 125 odds to win that. If just like I said, man, I'm telling y'all, if the way you make money, if you're just like a casual bettor, is to find like a bet that you feel a little bit confident in and just put a little bit of money on it and then just let it sit. Because there have been people that have become millionaires off of picking teams to win the Super Bowl that nobody thought the Bengals was going to make the Super Bowl.
Right.
So there's people that put money on that and they probably made off a couple 100,000. So definitely. But what do you think? KPJ, they have him behind Ricky Rubio, who's damn near got one leg right now. Behind Damian Lillard, who hasn't played. I don't even know. I don't think Dame has ever averaged over like 5 or 6 assists in a season, even though
No.
KBJ just averaged damn near 7. D'Angelo Russell, Russ gonna do his thing, and DeJounte Murray, guys like that. What do you think about KPJ's odds of being an assist leader?
I'm guessing they right on. I mean, I can't even really argue why they got him down there. You know, I can't argue why they got him. I understand why he's so low, but let's hark back to what I was just saying. Let's say he do end up achieving this assist leader. If he do end up, how is he not gonna be an all-star? Because I know he's gonna give us at least 17, 18 points a game. And if he give us 10, 11 assists a game with 18, 19 points a game, how is this man not going to be an all-star? And then how is he not going to win the MIP? So I think that even though it's a long stretch, if you was to put it on that he will win the NBA assist leader, you might as well go put some money on he's going to be the most improved player as well. Because I would bet my money Kevin Porter Jr. wins the assist leader. He got to be the most improved player and borderline all-star. So I wouldn't put my money on it. Truthfully, I wouldn't put my money on it that he's going to bet. I mean that he's going to win. But if you feel that strongly about it, go ahead and do it and put some on MIP as well, because I think those are going to go hand in hand.
All right, and the last award or the last odds that we have is the Rookie of the Year awards, and this one kind of shocked me because I'm looking at it. Obviously, Paolo's is the best odds favorite at plus 175, which I'm not mad at, and I've been on record saying that his game as a ball handler, as an offensive player, lends to that. But Jabari is right at second in the odds with plus 650, tied up with Jaden Ivey. They have him second ranked. They have Keegan Murray at plus 425, but with the fifth ranked odds for that. And then coming in at 6 is Benedict Mathurin with plus 1,000, which I don't think he really has a case in my opinion. So for Jabari being with Ivy, where do you see, what type of campaign does Jabari Smith need to have? And it might sound like some of the stuff you said for the other things, but what type of campaign does Jabari need to have to have a shot to winning that award from Paolo?
Truthfully, I think if he can get the same point production, almost similar, like say Paolo averaged 16 points a game. If Jabari can average 13 points a game, and I know his defensive numbers is gonna look way better than Paolo's. So if he can actually average 13 points, 6 rebounds, and just play hell of a defense to where he's up there in defensive win shares, defensive war, all that good analytical type numbers, because I think he's going to be an analytical defensive darling. If he can actually pop out the screen, and then we actually got a little team success, I think Jabari Smith can actually win it since Chet is going to be out. I think Chet will probably do kind of a monkey wrench in it if he was looking so good and stayed looking good for all the way through the season. But I think it's going to be a little team success, of course. But if he can look head and shoulders, give at least similar production offense, and then just dwarf him in defensive metrics, I think it's a good chance Jabari can actually. A matter of fact, I will go put some money on that one. I'll put some money on that one, because even though I said I like how Magic got a little confidence, they still got a lot of questions, especially defensively. If they putting up 110 points, but if they giving up 125 points a game, and we only putting up 108, 105, giving up 108, 105 a game, and our defense is looking like a stalwart, and from what we hear, Jabari is the defensive engine that's going to be leading us, and he's the loudest person on the floor. So it's going to be very, very obvious who changed our defensive round from 1 year. Just 1 year ago, we had the worst defense of anybody, bottom 5 and whatever. So if Jabari come in, makes it look like, man, their defensive head and shoulders were better than last year, and he put up, within 3 to 5 points of Paolo, I think it's Barry's to take.
Yeah, I can see that, and I think, and just for correction for me, Keegan Murray is actually the second best odds. Jabari's tied with Jaden Ivey, but I'm surprised that Jaden isn't higher myself because he's a guard. To me, for these awards, it's usually offensive leaning because you can see it, um, and the narratives and stuff are easier to paint. I think, like you said, for Jabari to get the Rookie of the Year, the Rockets have to be a successful team. I don't think nobody's going to care about us until we show that we're viable. We've read the stories of what some coaches have rumored to have said about us, and we look disorganized, with the KPJ stigma out there in the media. Some of the stuff about scouts and different people on national TV saying that Paolo shouldn't come to Houston because they can't do this or do that. So we have a stigma that we're trying to rebuild and rebrand ourselves. I think he's the guy, man. For him, I would say he has better odds of actually making one of the all defensive teams. I know people think I'm crazy, man. I think Jabari is going to be, he's going to get votes for all defense. If Coach Silas can come out and say, like, if you got to go watch some of those interviews that they've been released from training camp, everybody, veterans, coaches are saying this dude can guard.
Yeah.
We've seen the tape with that Jonathan Fagan showed of him and Jalen going at it on a little 5-on-5 they had at practice. And just the fact that when he's standing at the top of the key, he covers the width of the free throw line when he's in his full stance. And as a ball handler, you try to go around there. You going right into the help.
Yeah.
So that's that type of defensive just awareness, the God-given body build and athleticism with his quick feet. It's impossible. In Summer League, we watched the tapes. Every announcer that spoke, they talked about his offensive woes, but they were like, man, this kid can play defense. It just pops off the screen, bro. Like, so he gonna make defense sexy again, man. This man is bringing back defense. I don't know if he's gonna win it. I pick probably Jaden or Paolo over him. Even Keegan. Keegan's very efficient, just because it's offense and it's rare for rookies for them to be like, yeah, he's gonna be rookie of the year. It's like Herb Jones type. You know what I mean? Like,
but Herb Jones got some, considerations.
He
Even with
that was wild. That was wild.
He got some considerations, especially defensively.
That was wild to me. But it'll be easier for a Jalen, like an offensive star with a poor defense, to get votes than a Herb Jones or some of these other guys that are like defensive stalwarts. And I think Jabari's better than Herb Jones, obviously. But I definitely can see that being a thing for that. So some of the other names on there, two other Rockets rookies, they got Tari and Tai pretty much at the bottom. Not the worst, but in the middle. Both are at plus 6,000. My opinion, I think Tari should be higher up. I'm not sure why the odds think him and Tai have the same chances of winning it. So this is why if you're going to be doing like online betting and things like that on sports, when you bet on your team, you have more insight than sometimes some of the odd makers do, because you are actually watching the sport. Like Rockets fans, y'all watch these games, y'all watch practice. We talk about it on Twitter, we do spaces. So we know the scoop, the dirty, we know what the projected lineups are going to be. Obviously, Tai is battling out with a bunch of other guards. Tari has an easier path to play, and we've seen what Tari can do. I can see him making the starting lineup at some point this season. And I think that if he is led to roam and do what he wants to do, he is in the mix with any other rookie that we've talked about to be. So it's plus 6,000. Man, I'm telling y'all right now, I'm putting money on that. I am putting money on Tari winning Rookie of the Year. It might not be a lot, but I'm going to throw some money on that and just see where that goes. Because I definitely feel he has a chance. Tai, I just don't think he's going to have the opportunity to do so. I love Tai. I can't see it. All right, what you think about Tari and Tai?
I definitely agree with you on Tai. I don't think he's just going to have the playing time to show what he got as far as, being a meaningful, impactful rookie at this stage because it's just so many people that can have that's in the pecking order before him that Silas trusts more. And I think that's kind of similar with Tari as well. Unless Tari just showed that beastly in him. Because maybe he have a similar role like how Tate when Tate first came, like Silas was more like, maybe we can fit him in here and there. And then he just bully balled and he balled out so hard and he put so much effort to where Silas just couldn't keep him off the court. And I think if that's gonna happen with Tari, I still think he'll get meaningful minutes, but I think he'll still have a short leash. Just because that's just how Silas like to play it. He like to keep our guys on short leashes. He have us and I think that's kind of why their odds are where they are, because I think the national media is just looking at the depth chart. It's a lot of people that got to get some playing time before Tari, including KJ. At some point in time, we're going to have to answer that KJ Martin question. Is we're going to play him a little bit just to bring his value up. You know what I'm saying? Then we can dump him mid-season or whatever. I think Tari is just going to have to fight for every minute. And I don't think Tata pretty much even got a chance. So I really wouldn't put money on either one of them, truthfully.
And as far as some of the other awards, I'm going to rapid fire this. I'm going to just point out some notable things. To win the NBA championship, the top three teams, they got Boston and Golden State tied at both plus 600. And surprising to me, the Brooklyn Nets are plus 650 tied with the Clippers. Now, Space, we didn't see them get swept in the first round last year. They got Ben Simmons coming back. Obviously, we know the Rockets are tied to the Brooklyn Nets. Ben is coming back. They've added a couple pieces in the offseason. Honestly, this is probably the best fitting roster they've built since they've been there. KD's come back healthy. Kyrie's going to be playing most of the games. Do you think is correct for them to be pretty much tied with the Warriors, Celtics, and Clippers as championship favorites over Milwaukee?
Yes. Okay. And if you was to pull my arm, I would think they'd be the favorites to win the championship.
Truthfully. Okay, hot take. All right.
Got because, it on tape. I don't think Boston gonna repeat what they did.
With the whole, I forgot about that. Yeah,
with the whole Udoka and everybody. Yeah, they might come out hair on fire, but then eventually you gonna miss that brilliant mind that was over there sitting on that sideline, drawing up the plays and drawing up especially defensively. I think their defense is gonna look almost like night and day from last year because Udoka, he knew how to implement the defense and he knew how to do, his defensive style of play was just hard-nosed, aggressive. And I think those guys, nobody on that Celtics bench can replace what he brought. And it's going to be a distraction about his whole thing. People always probably going to ask him about it. Some days they ain't going to even want to play because we got to answer this, Udoka questions or, similar questions, misleading questions about what could have happened if such and such was. I think it's going to be a circus because it's the only real big narrating, getting story right now that we're going to pop off the season with. And I think it's going to really affect them because they're a young team. It's not like they're a veteran team that's been through similar situations. They know how to keep their head down. I think it's going to mess with them. I think I will put the Nets favorite coming out of the East. I really would.
Okay. I don't know. I'm not that sold on the Nets. I didn't like what I saw from KD. I don't know if that's I don't know, bro. He got I know it's KD. I don't know. I'm gonna say that it's a bit kind of high for me for them. They had the Houston Rockets at plus 100,000. What do you think? If you want to become a millionaire, that's the bet to make, right? You put $100 on the Rockets to win the NBA championship, you could get $100,000. So I might put $1 on them for that. Give me a little quick $1,000, but all right, Space. So we went through all these odds. Definitely season's about to start. We'll get to see some of these things coming to fruition. The Rockets are facing the Spurs this Sunday at Toyota Center, 6 p.m. Obviously, for all our, if you want to be able to attend that game, you can click the link in the description to our ticket network. So that's our sponsor for tickets. You can get them pretty cheap for that. What do you expect from this game? What do you want to see for the Rockets in this game against the Spurs?
I just want to see energy because I know we got some energetic guys. I just want to see energy, chemistry. I'm not gonna be looking too much at X's and O's. I'm gonna give Silas a real hard pass because I know we're gonna hear enough of that during the regular season. So I'm gonna give Silas a pass on the whole X's and O's. I think it's gonna be more of a summer league type up and down. Run, get them, shoot them, play a little defense, try to turn them over, aggressive. I think Lionel Hollins is going to really try to implement his aggressive style of defense. So because you get away with some things in the preseason, I want to see if how much of a limit he's going to test and push the guys. Because the way KPJ was saying, why get it out the basket if you could turn people over? Why run plays if you could turn people over and get them out? So I want to see is that really going to come into fruition to see exactly how they're going to implement it. See how the new guys are just responding to each other, chemistry wise, the vibes. I'm just looking for vibes, and I always want to win, so I want them to win as well. And I think we should win against the San Antonio Spurs. Everybody know they are obviously tanking, but that's basically what I want to see from our guys: just energy, hustle, things that we didn't have last year. Defensive energy, defensive hustle, rebounding. Because I know our offense it's our offense. Our offense is gonna be good. So I'm gonna just really keep a keen eye on the defense and just the energy of it.
I'm there with you. I'm curious to see the chemistry. What type of plays are they running? I've heard rumors of that, or not rumors, but Coach Silas said they're going to try out some different offensive sets. So alignment, like where is Şengün going to be? How does Şengün and Jabari work off each other? How does Jalen and Şengün work off each other? How does KPJ navigate the offense? Who are the backups? What kind of experimental lineups is he trying out? I know, like first preseason game, you can't put a lot into it, but I'm just excited to see how these guys play together. So think it's important. I hope they do play high minutes because I think they need to start building that chemistry early for all their success, individually and as a team. So with that, we'll close out this pod. Y'all definitely support our sponsors. Keep looking out for great content, and we'll be with you guys reviewing the first preseason game. We'll bring that to you as soon as that game is done. It should be dropping the day after. But appreciate you, man. Appreciate you, Space. Always, bringing the heat with the takes. Any plugs you got?
No, I will be saying that after the game that I will be doing a live reaction game for any of the Rockets fans out there that just want to come in here, chop it up with me, and you can come and be what Frank at if you like to even click the description, and we can bring you up and you can actually get your takes off of where you like to see the game, what you like to see in the game, and where you think this game this young Rockets team will be moving first forward. And we will be plugging in the chop up space that Frank always does after the game. He will be hosting the chop up space on Twitter. So if you don't have Twitter, download Twitter, go into the spaces, and we'll leave a link in the description. I will put the link in the description after the game reaction as well. So you can click the link up in the description. You can go right to the Frank space and chop it up with Frank, just like you can come here and chop it up with me.
And we're gonna try to find a way to link them together where we can do a Spaces live on YouTube. So we'll be working on that. We'll figure it out some way somehow. But appreciate everybody for listening to us, and just be on the lookout for the great content. Hit the like button, subscribe to our channel, keep supporting the Chop Shop.